So in this episode, I will talk about drafting. Drafting has always been a big thing about Dota, and it will always be, especially in competitive scene. In drafts, you can find yourself either having a really big advantage or really being on the downside of the draft. And it's always important to pick heroes you're comfortable with. So when you pick your hero, it's very important to look at your other teammates, what they have picked, and also what the enemies have picked. So you have a rough idea what kind of hero your lineup needs. So if you already have a carry who's like a heavy farmer, like Spectre and Terrorblade, something like that, probably from the mid lane you should pick a hero who's more like a space maker, maybe some Pangolier, Ember Spirit, heroes like this, instead of going for the greedier ones like TA. And on the other hand, if your position one is like Nature's Prophet, which is really common nowadays, you have more freedom to pick heroes that are greedier, maybe some Storm Spirit, heroes like this. It's very important to know the matchups, and that's why it's important to not play all the mid heroes. Always be realistic, you're not gonna master them all, so choose 5 heroes that you're gonna get good with, and then you will start to learn all the matchups, and that way you get an advantage on the enemy because you have already mastered this matchup, and that's basically how you really get ahead in drafting. If you are confident in your hero and you're confident you can beat this other mid hero, even though they might think it's a favorable matchup, but when you have played it enough, you can find your ways. The best way to learn matchups is obviously just practice, and then if you find yourself hitting your head against the wall, always look up to the better players, the professionals, what they do in these situations. But most importantly, always, it's just about practice. So in this game I'm playing Invoker, and the reason I picked Invoker this game is because first of all, I already know the matchup, or I almost 100% know the matchup. They pick Arc Warden. I'm very confident that they're gonna play mid, first of all, and it's a good matchup for Invoker. You're not gonna get punished too hard for picking this hero, so it's already a decent lane, so I feel good about that. And then I start looking at their other heroes. They have heroes like Winter Wyvern, very bad against Invoker because Invoker is heavy magic damage. Heroes like Doom, very mana dependent. I mean, Dazzle is whatever. But overall, this was the last pick, so I didn't see it. But also very good against the Wraith King. So it's a very good Invoker game, like overall against the enemies. And my Tornado, my EMP, they have very high value in this game. And Cold Snap also very high value. So that's already a really good enough reason for me to play it against their heroes. And then we can also check out my teammates. We have Spectre, is a hard carry hero. He needs all the space he can get. You want to make sure this guy has a lot of farm. So I'm already looking at heroes like Invoker, Pangolier, heroes like this. I don't want to go for like Morphling or Troll. Like those can really backfire when you already have a carry in your game. So naturally, the heroes I play, and it just naturally happened to be Invoker this game because of the way our lineup is and the way theirs is. So yeah, that's the reason. Also, like in this game, because of the Invoker pick, I dominated the game basically because, well, I had a decent lane against the Arc Warden. I had free farm. I got my items quickly, my drums, my Aghanims, and then once you get these items and they have no catch, no nothing, like nothing against magic damage, their heroes are super weak. Yeah, I made my pick very, very powerful, and yeah, it was the perfect pick for the game. So in this game I'm gonna explain to you guys our draft against Virtus Pro. When you're drafting in competitive, it's always you have to do your homework, who you play against, what are the heroes they're comfortable with, and that's how you start to build like the reason why you ban this hero, what heroes you ban, etc. And So let's jump into it. So we're playing against VP, so they have a really big techies player, so obviously we don't want to play against that hero. It's miserable. don't want to see that. And then people always ban Io and Furion against us, our very comfort heroes, and we're very strong with them. And yeah, then the banning phase, there's not really much about it. Just ban heroes that you meta heroes, Queen of Pain, and these heroes are very strong right now, so people don't want to play against them. We pick first pick Beastmaster. The reason we pick this hero is it's in meta right now, obviously very strong. We practice it a lot. We feel strong with it. We feel like we can build a lineup around the Beastmaster, and yeah, our offlaner mid one, he likes the hero a lot, so it's a good opener for us. We don't mind picking it early. Their answer to the Beast is Ember Shadow Demon, and I don't know exactly their thought process on this, but yeah, Ember is a decent hero against Beast, can kill the summons and so on, but overall we're happy with this. And as soon as we see these heroes, Ember Shadow Demon and Lycan is in the pool, we have Beast. Lycan is very good against both their heroes, and it's a very good combo with Beastmaster, so we instantly picked the Lycan. And already we feel like we are winning this draft heavily, because first of all we have Beast Lycan, very strong combo together, and then we look at their heroes. They have Ember Shadow Demon. Both of their heroes have no way to clear Lycan summons and no way to save anybody if Lycan just decides to go on them. So we're very happy with the draft so far, and we banned Tidehunter, probably the best hero against Lycan in the game. So very good ban, good in the lane, good in the game. He's always a problem to deal with. They go for Winter Wyvern. Yes, the reason they go for Winter Wyvern is because Wyvern is decent against Lycan. It's not like it's a counter or anything, but it's like it's a soft counter in a way, and probably one of the better supports you can play against Lycan. So, and they're probably panicking. They have this Beast Lycan that's gonna hit them real hard, like 15 minutes in the game, and they have to find some way to deal with all the summons we have. And I mean, we don't really care about that. It's just not really a problem for us. And then we go for Grimstroke. The reason we go for Grimstroke, first of all, this hero is great laner. Lanes are very important this meta, and he offers a very high magic damage and burst potential, which is kind of lacking on the Beast Lycan. So it's always good to add up some magic damage to that, because they only do physical damage. Probably what they're thinking about, they need a way to deal with this Lycan. They still don't feel good about their draft, so they're going all in on this dealing with the Lycan. They go Underlord, trying to desperately deal with the summons we have, and well, we're like, okay, like this is fine for us. We snap picked the Morphling. I'm gonna play the Morphling this game. The reason I wanted Morphling is, first of all, it's against Ember mid. It's a very good matchup for Morph. You have a free lane. There's no way he's ever gonna pressure you. And in the game, Morphling is probably the best hero against Ember you can have. You can turn into the Ember, you can chain him, then you can just E-blade combo him, and he's always gonna die. And then I also look at the other hero, Shadow Demon, Winter Wyvern. What are they gonna do to Morphling? They have no stuns, they have no way to burst him. Wyvern hates the E-blade combo, like there's no way he can save anybody. Underlord doesn't do anything to Morphling either, so it's like perfect Morphling game for me. And we have already early game. We have the early game secured with the Lycan, Beastmaster, and the Grim, so we can go for a bit greedier on the mid lane. And I was very confident with this hero. And then last ban for us, we banned Necrophos, because there was still a worry for me that in case they put the Ember safe lane and then they can put the Necro mid, and it's a very miserable lane for the Morphling. I'm gonna have a slow game, maybe it's gonna slow our game down too much, that the Lycan will eventually fall out and I will not be online fast enough to close out the game for us. So yeah, it made sense to ban the Necro, because otherwise we could be in a bit of a problem laning wise. For our last pick, we go for our position 4. So we had the Grimstroke already, that can be 4 or 5. So we had the freedom of choosing a position 5 or 4 hero, and we end up going for Wind Ranger. And Saksa really likes the hero. Probably the main reason we pick it because he feels comfortable with the hero. And also we are lacking some stuns, some catch. So it's always good to have some kind of stun or catcher when your heroes are like Lycan and Beast. They don't really offer you much on catch. So, and then they end up going for Phantom Lancer in the end. At this point we don't really care because Phantom Lancer is a very slow hero. He takes too long to get online. He needs his Diffu, Manta, whatever, and he's still like really squishy. So probably he needs like 25-30 minutes of time, and by the time we are hoping the game is already over. So we don't really care about the PL at all. We are very happy with the draft this game, and we end up crushing them also. So probably one of the biggest mistakes as a mid player you can do when you're playing pubs or even competitive is that you look too much into your own, like what's good against their heroes, when you should probably be looking at what's good for us also. And so in that sense you might draft into, you might get into some awkward positions, like maybe have Spectre carry and then you're playing TA mid against their puck because you feel like it's the best matchup ever, but ends up being very awkward for your team because then you have 2 guys who want to farm jungle and don't want to make anything happen. So you need to always look at your teammates, what do they need, and yeah, then go from there. I mean, usually in a lineup you want to have 1 or 2 guys who are taking a lot of resources, and then you have 2 supports. One is the warding support who doesn't really get any items, and then there's the greedier one. In this game it's the Wind Ranger. Probably he's gonna get Blink Dagger, Medallion, whatever he's going for, maybe a Meteor Hammer if he wants to. Things like this, a bit greedier. But yeah, you always want to have at least 1 guy who's really taking a lot of resources, who's able to farm the jungle when it's free, and yeah, then you need to balance it out with teamfight on the offlaner, maybe some push. Like this game we have very high push. Maybe your teamfight is a bit less on the, bit less, but it doesn't matter because we have very high damage, high push, and it really rounds it up very nicely for us. So in conclusion, the most important things about drafting is drafting heroes you're confident with, the heroes you know, and then always looking at the enemy's lineup and matchup to matchup wise. You need to have experience on the hero, like, oh, they pick Shadowfiend, I want to play Invoker mid. Why? Because maybe the lane is good, or maybe you're just feeling it, you're like, I'm really good with Invoker this game, whatever. It can be any reason you have, but as long as you're confident in the hero you want to play, then go for it. And that's the most important thing, is having confidence. Doesn't matter, you play Zeus against Kunkka. If you feel like Zeus is gonna own this game, but the lane is rough, doesn't matter. If you feel like you're gonna win the game, it doesn't matter if the lane is rough. As long as you have a game plan in mind and you feel confident in the hero you wanna play.